Well, now that we've talked about tomorrow's jobs report, let's talk about one possibly controversial approach to boosting job growth, and it has to do with a refocus on manufacturing here in the U.S. In the current issue of Bloomberg Businessweek, former Intel CEO and chairman Andy Grove says if he's called protectionist, so be it. Joining us now is Eric Pooley. He's deputy editor of Bloomberg Businessweek. This must have been a fun one to edit, I have to say. I mean, his approach is very interesting. He talks about the shift from sort of scaling up small startups to just the focus on the intellectual side of it without the manufacturing side.
Well, that's right, Julie. I mean, sometimes it takes an elder statesman from the business community to take a step back and let you know what's really going on. Andy Grove has been studying job creation, and he says that our emphasis on startups is totally misplaced. Startups do not create jobs in the volume that we need to get out of this mess we're in. What creates jobs is scale up. So taking that innovative idea and scaling it up in this country, building a factory to create lithium-ion batteries, for example. And we have been so quick to offshore production that we've created enormous companies in Asia. I mean, Foxconn now has more employees than Apple, Dell, Microsoft, HP, Intel, and Sony combined. So imagine if just a fraction of those jobs had been kept here in the U.S. So what Grove is arguing for is a job-centric economic policy that can keep manufacturing at home. It may sound pie in the sky, but we've got some examples of people who pulled it off. Dow just broke ground on a lithium-ion battery factory in Michigan, so it can be done.
Well, and this is definitely radically different than what we've been hearing from this administration, for example, which has focused on the intellectual development, the startups, the innovation, and not so much on making things here, even though, as we've seen from manufacturing numbers, that's one of the areas of the economy that's actually held up.
You're totally right, Julie. That's where we've been making jobs. That's where what recovery that we have had has been coming in the manufacturing segment. It's always been a source of dynamism, and what Grove is really saying here, he's challenging his friends in Silicon Valley to start rethinking what they do. And instead of having someone in favor of China policy trying to get jobs over there, he says, let's put someone in charge of U.S. policy trying to keep jobs at home and really structure our political and economic system to make that happen.
Well, where it really gets, I think, controversial is how he suggests we do that. He says everything that's made outside the U.S., maybe you put a tax on it.
Well, he did. He came out in favor of a tax on offshored products. That would be hugely controversial. I said, Andy, that could start a trade war. He said, if that starts a trade war, let's fight to win. So he's feeling that if, call me protectionist, so be it. But that's not the only solution available. There's also the fact that Asian countries give enormous subsidies to companies to site over there. And we should up our mix of tax breaks and other subsidies to help keep those jobs at home. That's very doable without triggering a trade war.
I mean, do you think that this idea is going to be able to gain any traction?
I do. I think it's already getting traction. Andy's not the only guy talking about it. If you talk to the CEO of Dow, Mr. Liveris, he's talking about it as well. And so are a lot of other CEOs who have seen what we've been doing is hollowing out our industrial base, and we need to start rebuilding it from a very, very self-interested point of view. Every other company has made job creation, every other country in Asia has made job creation the very essence of their economic policy. We have not, and we have to do that.
All right, Eric, it's in this current issue of Bloomberg Businessweek, How to Make an American Job by Andy Grove. Thanks a lot for coming on to talk about it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.